break. Don't go anywhere. Our exclusive live coverage from the Oscars red carpet continues right after.
You got nice color skin. What color would you say that is?
My color.
So where were you when you found out that you were nominated?
I was in Pasco, Oklahoma on the Osage Reservation. So I was FaceTiming with my parents. My mom was filming the TV screen so I could see it, and I couldn't read it through the phone. So I was like, no, Mom, I want to see you and Dad. So she flipped the camera around, and I learned, based on their reactions, that it had gone that way.
And how have the Osage responded to all of this attention?
One of the silver linings of having been on strike when the film came out and not being able to take to carpets to talk about it, it gave the spotlight to Osage people who had worked on the film, people who were descendants of survivors and victims of the Reign of Terror, to go and speak about it first, which felt really appropriate. The story ultimately belongs to them. It was made by Martin Scorsese, but made with Osage people. It's really remarkable to see the kind of discourse that it's raised. You know, the level of ownership and pride of this story. It's one of the few times in my own career when I've seen a role I'm playing on screen and I'm just feeling for that person. Like, I felt so much protectiveness over Molly, watching her in a way that, like, you know, kind of the way you stand up for your friends before you stand up for yourself. I need you here.
I'm right here, Molly.
When you feel for her and you fall in love with her beautiful sisters, her incredible mother, these like incredibly emotionally heavy, impactful moments brought by these women on screen. There was a real humanization in getting at the heart of the people and looking at this relationship as an analogy for this larger system of exploitation of Indigenous people, of Indigenous trust. I think the film really did an immense job.
I've read that you kept a picture of Molly on the front of your script, and that it was important for you to show her as a survivor, not so much a victim.
I think a lot of actors get really excited to do a bio piece. You know, I am too. There's pieces that I'm looking at because you get to really sit and study somebody else's voice, their intonation, their body language. There was none of that for Molly. There were photographs. So these two photos that I had, the front was Molly before she had met Ernest. It was from a photo that she took with her sisters when they were very young. The look on her face, I just would sit and absorb who she was. But then on the other side of my binder, I had a photo of her not long before she passed away. She has this kind of like head tilt that I totally could see in her granddaughter. It's a little bit of a wry smile, and her head was up, and she just looked like she had won. Her spirit is an Osage woman, and she reclaimed what was hers as best as she could.
Your reaction to being the first Native American woman to ever get Best Actress for the Academy Awards?
Being the first Native American nominee for this kind of blows my mind, because the origin of film, some of the earliest film reels that people were watching, pouring out to go see, were made by Native people, documenting and showing and capturing some of our dances, some of our own stories. American Indians were at the heart of Hollywood in the 1920s. You know, those artists back then really influenced the culture of film. Just because it's overdue doesn't mean that's not wonderful. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have a huge impact for leading actress. It's a big deal. It's long overdue, but it's very welcome.
Turn in just a few minutes.